Franchising in Australia contributes an annual turnover in excess of $170 billion. It's a vital sector to our nation's economy and one filled with hard-working Aussies boasting an array of business skills. I'm Effie Zahos and welcome to The Franchise Show. Entering into small business presents many challenges and may raise many questions for new franchisees. Is training provided? When are my orders delivered? Who looks after the finances? Do I make my own bread? Well, for Franchise Bakehouse, Brumbies Training is a major part of pre-store operations. So Jasmine went behind the scenes to see where the skills begin.
So how long do they bake for? 18 minutes? And only one steam?
Deepa and Divya are a dynamic sister duo and two of Brumbies' latest in-training franchisees. An exclusive program designed to ensure all newbies learn the same high standards in production and practices before taking over their franchise stores.
So you like the product?
Yeah,
You like the brand?
Yes.
Now you're going to sell it?
Salad, yes, definitely.
You're going to pick your dough piece up and then you're going to twist it.
Wow, Donna, this place is absolutely huge.
It definitely is. This is our training academy here on the Gold Coast, and we make everything here from donuts to coffee to pizza, and this is where the Brumbies franchisees start their practical training.
Can't wait to check it out. Let's go.
Donna is the Brumbies Academy training guru. She and head baker Brad take each and every franchisee-to-be through the practical program.
First week is business week, and then they have 4 weeks practical classes, and then after that they go into their 3 weeks in-store training, so real life.
Meaning the training also includes rostering, stock take, mixing, as well as endless baking tips.
Before we don't know how to make the sandwiches and everything, like loaf and everything, but now we learn so much about from this.
Donna and Brad say the skills learned from brand training are vital for effective business and will help set up franchisees with all the know-how, even if baking isn't a previous forte.
No, you don't need to be a baker to open up a store. You come through those doors as an unknown and the training is intense, and you walk out of here after your training with the basic skill base to walk back into your store at 3 o'clock in the morning and bake bread or products to put on your shelf.
Learn everything from them. And if we stuck in the business, we call him, they come through and they teach us. I like that the way.
They come to us from the academy with a lot of theory and a lot of enthusiasm, so it's always good to tap into that. And then it's our job to take that theory and put it into practice, into the real world type situation.
Pam Russell is Brumbies' very first franchisee in Australia, and with around 30 years in the business, collecting 8 stores to her name at one stage, it's no wonder she's one of the brand's top in-store trainers.
The skill of understanding the correlation between the theory and the practicalities. They'll learn how to make products, how to roster staff effectively, how to manage a team of people, and just general how to run a business and have fun doing it.
So girls, how excited are you at jumping in and opening up the new store?
Yes, of course, we are very excited to jump in my store.
You're going to be the boss.
Yeah.
You make all the decisions. You've got to get it right, don't you?
Yes, definitely.
Until then, Pam is happy to offer a helping hand to ensure the rest of their training and transition into their very own store runs as smoothly as possible.
Keep an open mind, accept the challenges in a positive way, and understand every challenge is a learning process and learn from that and go forward with it.
Thank you so much. Training, there is always so much to remember, but fortunately Brumbies offers stacks of support, from brand training to in-store training. As for the girls, well, all that's left to do is to open up their brand new store. We'll catch up with them later in the series to find out how they're going.
Is franchising right for you? Discover more after the break. This is The Franchise Show.
At Glory Jeans, we have a franchise induction program which runs over 6 weeks. It's a combination of classroom-based training, teaching around coffee, the background of coffee, how to execute it, how to make all of our drinks, and then we go out into store so that they're supported with partner franchisees before entering into their actual own store. Training's important because at the end of the day, the better that you execute in retail, the better the customer experience is and the more likely they're going to return back to your store each and every day. We've got training programs that are ongoing and we encourage our franchisees not only for them to upskill themselves but also their team, and that's an ongoing part of the Glory Jeans system.
You go through a very intensive training course with both of the mobile brands, and then your first 2 weeks on the road, it's full-time support. We'll have someone with you at your house from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed of an evening and you're cleaned up for the afternoon. Not only are we looking to implement what you learnt in training and make sure you're operationally capable, but we'll find your customer base. So we'll drag you along very quickly, and after 2 weeks you'll have an established, profitable business. From there, that's where a lot of franchisors can let themselves down because the support drops off. But we have a very regimented policy. You'll receive a phone call from your development manager every single week, and you'll receive a minimum once a quarter on-van visit, often more than that. But that minimum once a quarter visit is a full analysis of your business, everything from your uniform to your social media to your coffee making skills. Are you running promotions? Can we find more business? Everything is analysed, and any weak points we try and improve upon.
Training adds value to any business. Training can be as basic as upskilling your employees in exactly how you do things within your business. It's a way of ensuring that you get consistency across the service and the quality of product that you provide your customers. More importantly, your relationship with your employees grows. It teaches them that their job isn't just a job, it can potentially be a career, and it also gives them the knowledge that you're willing to invest in them and can create you a succession plan. It means that the more skills your employees have, the more time you might be able to spend away from your business because you can trust them to care for it.
Hi, my name's Lee Danahay and I'm the Gold Coast manager for Oz Harvest. Oz Harvest is a national organisation. We're Australia's first perishable food rescue organisation, and we rescue perishable food from all outlets like supermarkets, hotels, bakeries, convention centres and events, and we deliver that food to organisations helping people in need. We try to engage the community, so apart from rescuing food, we're also, of course, engaging businesses and people in the community as volunteers and as supporters of what we do. We see ourselves as an innovative organisation and we like to make sure that we're always at the forefront of innovating with regard to food rescue. RFG have their training kitchen where they train their franchise owners from the likes of Donut King. They'll ring us and we'll pick up crates of donuts that they've been making in their testing in their kitchen. We deliver those donuts to a number of local organisations here on the Gold Coast. And we'll also pick up pizza from their pizza chains. Crust Pizza's here today making the world's largest dessert pizza. So we'll be taking any of the excess pizza at the end of the day and delivering that to local charities. The most astounding thing is that 1/3 of all of the food that we're producing in the world is literally going to waste. At the same time, we have 800 million people in the world who are undernourished or who are starving. So food waste is a big problem worldwide. In Australia, it's 4 million tonnes of food that we're wasting each year, $1.3 billion worth. And by rescuing food that would otherwise be going to waste and getting it to people in need, we're impacting, that crazy statistic. We're helping more than 800 charities around Australia, and each of those charities would be helping anything from 10 to 100 or 200 people, or more, thousands of people a week. The statistic for Australia is that on average 2 million people rely on food relief at some point every year. We're always looking for support, whether it's via food that they're donating, via time or money. We're always looking for support, and they can just visit our website, www.ozharvest.org.
Coming up next, when it comes to Brumbies bread, is all flour the same? You're watching The Franchise Show. It's fair to say a successful business comprises of a team of teams, a group of people or a support network who all aid the ultimate success of a business. According to Brumbies, it's no different when it comes to bakeries. Darren took a trip to Manildra to discover the importance of our farmers and the process our flour takes from paddock to plate.
Have you ever stopped to consider just how much flour each Brumbies Bakery goes through in just one day? Well, we're about to take you to an Australian-owned mill that produces enough flour each day for 50 Brumbies bakeries all year. Evolving from humble flour mill beginnings, these days Manildra Group is a diverse agribusiness, celebrating nearly 65 years and 4 generations of successful family business operations. Based in regional New South Wales, Manildra Group proudly partners with over 5,000 local farmers, value-adding to wheat, sugar, canola, beef and lamb. Buying 100% of their requirements direct from Australian farmers, Manildra has 4 state-of-the-art flour mills in the heart of the Australian wheat belt: Manildra, Gunnedah, Narrandera and Nowra. Producing a full range of flours for bakery goods, pastas, noodles, tortillas, batters, breadings and breakfast cereals, Manildra exports their Australian-made products to over 38 countries and exclusively supplies Brumbies Bakery with the flour needed to bake your favourite fresh bread.
The milling process is quite a complex process. It may sound simple that we bring in wheat, but when we bring in wheat, we're looking for various quality parameters with that wheat. We then come up with the right blend of wheats to meet the customer's requirements. And we want to meet what the customer needs, not just give them the product that we think they should get. Technology has grown in the flour milling industry, but I'd say most of it has been around automation and making sure our process remains in control. The company has always expanded its horizons and looked not only in Australia but overseas, and we've had great growth in Australia and in our export markets. But it's also about opening up new markets. We think that promoting Australian manufacturing is very important, and I think there's been some opportunities with our company where we could have done things in a different way, but we've always chosen to do it locally. I have children of my own, and I'd like to see that our family have products that are made in Australia for many years to come.
Where do you see the mill here in 5 years' time?
We'll have continued development here on site in terms of the way we make products and the types of products that we make into the future. We make everything from retail products through the products that go into bakeries and bulk goods. And I'm sure there'll be change in that as we move forward.
What about the farmers out there doing it tough?
Our principle for buying wheat is that we like to buy that directly from the farmer. So that's very important to us. Over time, those links will become closer, and I guess they're becoming broader now with the amount of products that we buy. Just in our local area, we'll have farmers who'll grow wheat as well as canola that are used in our group.
Manildra have always been a very active purchaser of grain from this part of the world, or in fact, a big area of New South Wales. We're very close to the flour mill here, so always been very fair with the pricing, competitive pricing, and we either deliver it to the flour mill, deliver it into the storage at Manildra, keep it on farm and deliver later, so there's a lot of flexibility there. The relationship with the Manildra flour mill has continued to grow, and certainly Manildra is a mighty important part of this community.
Manildra is proud to be a part of the community. It's certainly been very important to the township here because we've created employment for the local area. And more broadly, if you think about infrastructure, whether that's trucking companies and farmers, etc. So trucking companies bringing wheat in and also taking our product away. That's industry in its own, as well as engineering support. So we're important to the community, but we don't want to hold ourselves above the community. We're part of the community.
Okay, one of the things that I found fascinating in the lab was the extent of interest you have in the product as far as the usability. Take us through that journey.
In our testing regimes, we're not only looking at protein and moisture of the resultant flour, we actually put it through some dough tests that tells us how much water would that flour absorb and how long should it be mixed for. And that's really important to the dough maker out at the Brumbies store. He knows that he can add the same amount of water as he did yesterday, mix it for the same amount of time, and he's going to get a great result. And it's all about making sure that that happens every day. It's actually the skill of our millers and the way we set up our equipment that makes the most of that wheat and the flour that comes from that. We can do all the analytical tests, but we have a test bakery here on site and we bake product every day to make sure it meets our standards.
How reliant is Brumbies upon you to deliver quality?
I think they're highly reliant on us and they expect us to deliver quality every day, and that's what we do.
Next, we hear from one of coffee's busiest and youngest franchisees. What's his secret? Keep watching The Franchise Show. Now, you've probably seen the ads that claim you don't need specific skills to get started in a franchise, just lots of enthusiasm. Yet training is a key factor for success in any business, and it's critical if you're entering a field you know nothing about. That's why it pays to understand exactly how much training is included in a franchise fee. Now, some franchisors include it upfront, the initial cost. Others charge separately for this, so be sure you know exactly what you're getting. A good rule of thumb is the more you pay to buy into a franchise, the more you should be getting back. Startup training is the only thing to consider. Business owners continually need to develop their skills to stay on top of new trends or ahead of the competition. Franchisors may offer free training courses specifically tailored to boost the skills for you and your staff in your particular industry. Others charge separate fees for regular training, and while the cost can usually be claimed on tax, it's not uncommon to pay several $100s for each person attending a single day's training course. It makes training an ongoing business expense that you really need to budget for.
When you sign up with a franchise, they take you through the whole training process. So I spent about 5 weeks in what we call our Coffee University. So 3 weeks down in Sydney at our support office and 2 weeks in another coffee house, learning all the systems and processes that take place. So I'm well trained for the job. So the biggest challenge has been building a new team from the ground up and finding team members that are as passionate as we are about serving our guests and making coffee. Awesome. We'll call out your name when the order's ready. Thanks, Ty. I've got Dad and Aaron, my brother-in-law, who helps out, and it's a family business and, you know, it's doing everything in a team. It's all the ongoing support that we receive every day. We've got people looking after us down at support office. If we run into any trouble, you know that they're a phone call away. It's the proven systems and processes that you're buying into. You're a part of a big family and you know, we've got no complaints, mate. We absolutely love it. So you got to do your due diligence. Heaps of options out there. So find something that you're passionate about, you know, be willing to learn and then give it a good go.
Are you in a franchise or are you thinking about buying into one? If you need information, visit thefranchiseshow.com.au.
Before buying the franchise, I did quite a bit of research.
Do you research?
Do you research? Yes, research. It's a popular tip, but where do you even start? Fortunately, I know someone who can help.
Professor Laurel Fraser is the director of the franchising school at Griffith University and agrees with, well, everyone else.
Doing due diligence is basically doing your homework, so it's doing research about the franchise before you make a decision. It's very important because you're investing a lot of money into it, and there is some risk. Even though it's a franchise, it can still be risky.
So the university have developed a 6-step checklist to help potential franchisees navigate through early stages and prepare for the road ahead.
Well, the first step in doing your due diligence is to make sure you understand franchising. And if you don't know how franchising works, then you'll need to educate yourself. So the next step is to assess your own suitability for franchising. You've got to make sure you've got the right personality for entering that franchise. So, for instance, will you be comfortable with following the system and taking directions from the franchise head office? Once you've got through those hurdles, the third step is to do some research on the industry and the franchise. So you can do your own market research on industry trends and see what the prospects are for that franchise. And then you can do some research on the franchise itself. Under the Franchising Code of Conduct, the franchisor will supply you with a copy of the disclosure document, which explains everything about the franchise, a copy of the franchise agreement, and a copy of the franchising code itself for you to look over at least 14 days before you sign the agreement or pay any money.
Laurel advises choosing legal and financial advisors with specific franchising and small business expertise.
And our final tip, and one of the most important, is to make sure that you speak to as many franchisees of the brand as possible.
I got a bit of advice from my accountant and solicitors and got them to look through the whole structure. I also sat with the franchisor and we went through some cash flow forecasts and some business planning as well. So I knew all the costs and exactly what I was getting into.
Well, Laurel, we've talked about a lot today, so how long should this whole process take?
That will depend on the level of complexity of the franchise and the level of investment. So if you're entering a fairly complex business that's quite expensive, then you'll need to spend more time on your due diligence. It could take weeks or even months. This is probably the biggest decision they're going to make in their lives, and certainly in terms of investment. So they need to be very careful and take their time.
To find out more, visit franchise.edu.au.
Being part of a franchise, you get that support mechanism. You've got to take the information they give you, work with that information, and be prepared to be part of a franchise.
Do your research, have a good look at yourself and your own ability to take on such a job with the pressures that are renowned to come with them.
Surround yourself with the right team and they'll pull you out of some of the darker times as well. Oh, nice.
Employing close to 400,000 Australians, our franchise sector has never been stronger, and training plays a massive part in its overall and ongoing success. Don't forget, there are plenty of free and low-cost workshops and training seminars provided by all levels of government, including local councils. So check out the government's business portal for details. I'm Effie Zargos. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.